Hi everybody. Today we're going to be making some holiday cards, and also I have a bonus video I'm going to make on using the backdrop feature for something other than digitizing off of. But first, the cards. So step one is of course to open up the Floriani Total Control software. So we open it up, and on my Floriani today we're going to choose Create a New Design. Alright, so the way this is going to work is going to seem a little bit weird. You just got to trust me, because we're going to have a lot of stuff piled on top of one another in the design field, but we're actually going to do some stuff on the embroidery machine that makes it sew out the way that we want it to. So first we need to get the right hoop, and I'm going to be doing this on an Alissimo, so if you have a different machine, like with a smaller hoop or something, you need to know what hoop size you have and pick the right hoop that is going to work with your machine. Like for instance, if you have a machine that only has a 5x7 embroidery frame, you're going to have a much smaller card, and you're going to have to kind of scale down the things that we do. So to pick our hoop, go up to the top toolbar up here and choose Tools, or no, View, sorry. And under View, click on Hoop. The hoop that I'm going to use is the one that says Baby Lock Brother 300 by 200. That's the big hoop on its side, essentially. The big hoop for the Alissimo. So like if I had a 5x7 hoop, maybe I'd be using a 130 or 180 by 130. But so anyway, if you don't have an Alissimo, find your hoop size and pick it. Say okay. So if the hoop size that you pick isn't oriented like this, it's not on its side, like wider than it is tall, then you'll need to go in the hoop and tell it to rotate the hoop 90 degrees. Now this hoop doesn't need that because I picked the one that's already on its side, but if you pick a different one and it's going the other way, go back and pick it to be rotated 90 degrees. Alright, so once we have the hoop, I am going to draw a rectangle in here. And the rectangle is going to be, it's going to be a few different things. It's going to be the same line is going to be used to make a reference point for where we put the thing that's going to become the card, and it's also going to be the satin stitch that goes around the whole card. So we're going to start off by going to the artwork tool up here at the top. This one's got a pencil and a green circle and an orange square. Choose rectangle, and then left click with your mouse and drag over to the right and create a rectangle. It doesn't matter what size it is at this point, because we're going to resize it right now. Go over to the select tool, click on select, and once it's got the little boxes going around your rectangle, go to the transform tool, and under the sizes, you're going to uncheck maintain aspect ratio, and you're going to change the width to be 10 and the height to be 4, or not 4, 6, sorry. So 10 inches wide and 6 inches high. Click apply. Okay. Now we're going to move this rectangle by left clicking and dragging it so that the X, which marks the center of it, that's this X right here, so that the X is right inside our little center mark inside of our hoop. So we're going to grab it and move it so it's close, and once it's close, hold down the control key and press up or down on your arrow keys until it's dead center. Okay, so once you have that dead center, then we're ready to go on to the next thing. So we've got our rectangle, and the first rectangle we want is going to be a running stitch. And what this is going to be is we're going to have stabilizer in here, some light tearaway in the hoop when we go to sew it out, and this is going to sew down a running stitch that's going to tell us where to place our material that's going to become the card. So we want to convert this to a running stitch. So we're going to right click on it, choose convert to run, okay, and then left click. Boom. Now I've got a running stitch, and the settings that this comes up with are fine for our purposes. So this is our running stitch here. Okay, let's make it 3D so we can see it. There we go. It's a little bolder when you make it 3D. That's this button down here on the left hand side right towards the middle of the screen. So we've got that, and now we want to, let's see, what do I want to do first? Let's do some lettering first. And so the lettering that we're going to do first is going to actually be the inside of the card lettering. So this is like after they've opened the card, this is what they're going to see. So I'm just going to do a generic Happy New Year here. You just type in whatever you want, and you can pick whatever font you want to. I'm going to put my mic down here. You can pick whatever font you want. I'm just going to type in, like I said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And after every word I hit the Enter key so that it would be multiple lines. And I'm just going to hit Apply. And we're looking like that's going to fit just fine at this size. So kind of if you look at the 0 line here, see on my grid there's a 0. This is the absolute middle of our rectangle. Alright, so we know that we can't cross that, or it's going to be folded over in the lettering. That's not going to work right. So we've got our lettering. It's got to be between the O here and the 5 over here. So basically we've got kind of 5 inches to work with on the inside of our card. So we know that's going to fit though, so that's fine. Alright, so we've got Happy New Year written here, or whatever message you want. If you want to change your font, you can do that over here with the this little scroll bar here. Lets me pick different fonts. So you pick whichever font you're happy with. It really doesn't matter what you pick here. Anything will work. So it's kind of a design decision there for you. Alright, and then the next thing we want to do is we're going to add a little embroidery design under here that's kind of festive. So if we go under, look at our sequence view, underneath that is your design library. And if you follow the instructions on importing all the designs into your design library, you should have a bunch of stuff in here under free monthly designs. And they're conveniently organized by month. So let's see what they have in December. Here we go, December. It's going to have kind of holiday themed designs in it. So you just look through and find one that strikes your fancy, maybe this little Christmas tree here. You just click it and drag it into the design field area. And we can see that this is just a little bit big for this area, and that's fine. We're just going to resize it by grabbing one of the corners and squishing it down. So you grab one of these corner blocks here and you can increase or decrease the size. As long as you use the corners, it'll scale. If you don't use the corners, it'll flatten it and it won't look as nice. Alright, so we've got our little festive Christmas tree in there. Now we're going to do something kind of weird. Let's see. First thing, we're going to do another running stitch. So I want to take this first running stitch. If you look in your sequence view, I click back into my sequence view. And if you look on here, I've got my first thing was a run. And I want to do another one of these. I want to make a copy of this. So we're going to right click on it. And actually, you know what? I should have done this earlier, but this should be a different color than my text, and it's not. So first thing I'm going to do is actually change this one's color. So I'm going to go over here, and it doesn't matter what color you pick. It's just you're not going to see this stitch anywhere. It needs to be a different color than the lettering. So so I changed it to this kind of yellow color. So that's fine, as long as it's not the same color as my lettering. That's because I want it to stop after it runs it out. I don't want it to combine these into one piece. Alright, so we're going to copy this. Go right click on it and choose copy, and then right click and choose paste at the bottom down here. And it has placed my running stitch, my second running stitch rectangle at the end here. Right? And that's exactly what we wanted to do. And so what's going to happen here is we're going to sew out this first part, and then we're going to take the card material out and then rehoop another piece of tearaway stabilizer into the hoop and put it in before it runs out this this running stitch. And then so it's going to put out another running stitch for me, which is going to be my guide for placing this back in. And what we're going to do is flip it over, so the part that you see now is going to be upside down and the other side is going to be over here in this area. So the next thing that we put in is not actually going to go on top of this stuff like it's going to look like it is in the design. It's actually going to be on the other side of the material. So now we can put in our message for the front. So I'm just going to do, again, like a very simple, I'm just going to do Merry Christmas, or you can put in your holiday of your choice. Now, if we look at this one, we can see that that is actually too wide to fit. See this Christmas? I could change it and say Xmas, but it's kind of tacky to do that. So I'm going to change my size a little bit. And the way we can do that is just go under the height in inches, in the properties in your text menu here. And I'm going to go from 7.9, I'm going to change it to 0.6. And it looks like that will fit. Okay, so Merry Christmas, and remember the fold is going to be here, and the Happy New Year is not going to be there, and the Christmas tree is not going to be there. So there we've got our Merry Christmas there. Very nice, very nice. And we want to add a little decoration to this side too. And you don't have to do this, but why wouldn't you? So we'll go in and find a design that we like. It's up to you. However, ooh, look at these. These are Happy New Year. Those are all Happy New Year 2013s. That's not going to work, is it? Well, that's fine. So anyway, we'll pick, oh, I don't know. We could have Santa coming out of the chimney, I guess. Okay, so we move him into the design field, and again, this is a little bit too big for this area, so we're going to grab the upper left-hand corner and size it down. Now, the software makes it look like this is all on top of one another, but we know that it's not, because we're going to be flipping this design over. Okay, and it's going to have Merry Christmas on the front with little Santa Claus popping out of the box, and then Happy New Year on the inside, and it's going to have whatever we put in there, Christmas tree, I guess. Okay, so you can customize the messages, obviously, to be anything that you want them to be. They don't have to be Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. They can be anything. So now we're going to go back to the sequence here, and we need yet another one of these boxes for the finishing touch here. So we're going to, again, copy this, right-click on it, copy, scroll down to the bottom, and you know what, let's see what happens when we Control-V and paste. Yeah, you know what, it's actually, it doesn't let me go far enough down to paste it the other way. So what we're going to do is, right now, when I hit Control-V to paste this in, the Control key and then the letter V made it paste it in here. And I think that's where it's going to paste it no matter what I do, is directly under the first one. So we just right click on this second run stitch here, right click, and then go up and there's a selection here called order. You're going to choose to front. Okay, so now this is now the last thing that sews out. But we don't want it to be a run stitch anymore. We actually want to convert this, right click on it, convert to style or style. I have no idea how you pronounce that the right way. Well, whatever. You just click this one. Steel, style, whatever. We're just waiting for it to convert, and there it has. You can also change the color of this. Like right now it's yellow. You can make it whatever color you want. I just made it green. It's fine. Okay, so that is going to put a finishing stitch around the end of it, which once we're done, we're going to tear away the tearaway. We're going to tear it away, and you're going to be left with this one big block of stuff. So I'm going to go through this step by step in the slow redraw so we can watch the thing sew out here. So let's see, we're going to let it play. Oops. Oh, hitting all kinds of wrong buttons here. Alright, close that. I accidentally opened up the print button. I meant to hit this slow redraw button. Okay, so now we're gonna I'm just gonna drag this along here so you can watch it run out the first running stitch, and it's gonna stop at this point. So at this point, we're gonna take our little sandwich of material, and I'm gonna explain what that is in the class. The sandwich of material, it's gonna be a layer of our fabric that we want for the front of the card, and then a layer of like shape flex or any kind of fusible interfacing that you have that's going to add a little bit of structure to make it more like a card is what we're going to use for the middle, and then on the other side is going to be what you want for the inside. Or I guess actually the way that we're doing it, the first layer is the inside and the second layer is the outside, and you want to have them right sides out on both sides. Okay, so you've got one right side up, and then a layer of the fusible, and then one right side facing down, so that's on the showing side. When you flip it over, you can see it. Anyway, so you're going to take that sandwich that we make, and you're going to place it in here. And you might want to use, you could either use a sticky tearaway to do this, which would work fine, or a little bit of spray adhesive, but that might stain your fabric a little bit. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of experience using spray adhesives on like nice quilting fabric type stuff. But either way, yeah, I guess the sticky would probably be best. If you have sticky tearaway stabilizer, use that, basically. If you don't, use spray adhesive. Um, so anyway, you stick the thing down, and we will have cut our fabric so that it's just a little bit bigger than this, so that it'll be easy for us to place it within that, but still be kind of over it a little bit. So we go ahead and let it sew out the next part. Do. Happy New Year, and then the design. Okay, and then it will stop. And what we're going to do is actually unhoop this completely and remove all the stabilizer from it. So we take it out, unhoop it, take the stabilizer off, tear it away, so that you're left with, you might have to cut it, actually, now that I think about it. You're probably going to have to cut the tearaway away at this point, because all we have is a flimsy one layer of straight stitch going around it. So yeah, I haven't actually sewn this out yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. So I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to have to cut it out with scissors, but that's fine. So you're going to cut it out, and then you are going to flip it over, and you're going to have a new sticky stabilizer piece. So you're going to have 2 pieces of this hooped up in your hoop, and then it's going to sew out the next running stitch. Do all the way around to do the running stitch. Okay, so we've got another running stitch down that's given us a place, and we put our flipped over piece in there, and it's going to then go and sew out the front letters, Merry Christmas, and then the little Santa Claus popping out of the chimney, ho ho ho. There he is, little candy cane ho ho ho's and everything. Okay, and then it will stop. And then put the satin stitch down. Although now I'm thinking, there's a step that I didn't tell you to do. That's great. Should I restart the video? No, if you're with me this far, then you're still with me. So there's gonna be another step in there before it does the satin stitch, because the satin stitch is going to be nice and finished, and we can just pull the stabilizer away from it. But our I tell you what we're going to do is actually cut our piece to be exactly 10 inches by 6 inches, and then we won't have this problem at all. So we got to make our piece before we start. It's going to have to be exactly the right size. So 6 by 10. Yeah. And I'll show you that in the class when we actually make our piece. I'll show you how we make it, and then we'll just cut it. I mean, you just use a rotary cutter and make sure that it's exactly 6 by 10, and then it'll put this finishing stitch all the way around it, and we'll just be able to tear it right out of the tearaway, and it will look really cool. So what it's going to be is going to be Merry Christmas on the front, Happy New Year on the middle, and you just fold it over, and you've got a cool Christmas card. You could even, if you wanted to, you could put like a little buttonhole in here and then sew a button on the other side of it so that it closes better, because I bet you, depending on what interfacing you use, that this is going to want to spring open. So you could do that, you know, but it's just a cool little customized, crafty thing to make Christmas card on your embroidery machine. So that's it for this video, I think, and hopefully my demonstration tomorrow along with this video, you'll be able to make these. Alright, see you in the next video.